Yo, it's Raisins. We're back with another video. This time I'm going to show you how to roam better, how I decide when, where, how I roam, and what lanes I go to. And it's going to be a really simple short video. I'm just going to show you guys a couple examples from my solo queue games, and I'll talk you through my logic so you guys can understand kind of the decisions I make before I roam. And if you enjoyed this video, I can make a more detailed roaming guide. But the basics of roaming are very simple, and it's pretty much the same every game. You just go through a kind of checklist, and then it's an opportunity cost. Are you losing more on one side of the map than you're gaining on the other, or vice versa? You want to try to always gain more, obviously, when you roam. So that's pretty much it. It's quite simple stuff. But if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know. Leave a comment, and I will make a more detailed guide. But I have a couple of examples here, and we'll just go through them. So in this example, me and Jin actually have an opportunity to base really early. We have a really kind of good timing to base. It's an enemy Vayne. She can't de-push the wave super quick, and as you can see, we have a stacked wave. So on this wave, essentially what I'm going to be looking to do is roam. As you can imagine, I have a bunch of time. You'll see Vayne stuck under the tower for a tremendous amount of time, and then on top of that, you see Lulu coming back from base because we had just traded on her, and she's going to be looking for, to de-push the wave and push it all the way into our tower. So I have a bunch of time to do something on the map, and pretty much standard for every single support is to path mid lane if you don't need to be bot lane. You path mid and it allows you to go top, allows you to go bot, allows you to help your jungler. But then I immediately see that Lee Sin's on Crab and my jungler is looking to contest Crab. So the first thing I'm doing is just assessing, if I pause right here, I'm still just thinking about in my head, I see Lulu recalling, do I have enough time to pull this play off before my AD carry is going to need me back bot lane? Now, this is kind of a experience thing. In a different lane matchups, you'll need to understand how quickly the opponents can push the wave, number one, and then two, whether your lane opponents can dive your AD carry. That's an important one. Whether your AD carry needs help at all farming under tower, or could they get pressured off the tower 2 versus 1 by the enemy bot lane. So rather 1 versus 2. So again, this is an experience thing, but I think to myself, I probably don't need to be bot lane for a very long time, so I have time to make this roam. Now, I don't necessarily even need to be here. Lee Sin has already secured the Crab, and they go for Lee Sin, and they pretty much almost one-shot him. But me being here does end up actually turning into a kill. And as you can see, I don't stick around for too long. I'm there, I get the kill, and then I immediately back. I don't stick around, I don't try and dive Jace top lane, but it could have been a possibility. Now, if I pause the video, you should think about what you would have done in my situation, but the real possibility of diving Jace is because, again, Jin is pushing the wave in bot lane. I don't see Vayne Lulu. They based about 7-8 seconds ago, something like that. So they're going to be coming onto the map in about 20 seconds. Vayne is definitely going to be going bot lane. She wants the minions. So the only kind of concern I have is, okay, well, if my Jin could get dove under tower, but he's not going to get dove under tower if they can't even push the wave to it. So I have zero reason to be bot lane anywhere else right now. The reason I recall is, in my opinion, it's just not a good use of me and Talia's time trying to dive a Jace. It would be much better to try and, for me to get vision down somewhere. I haven't gotten vision down. As you can see, we only have the kind of one ward on the map, really, and a Scuttle Crab. And Talia hasn't based yet. Okay, so I don't want to bait my Talia in to a really long extended fight at level 3 or level 4 when I could just take a quick base, take the fast win, and get vision control on the map. So yeah, that's the first example. Now in the second example, we just got a gank from Talia. It didn't result in a kill, but it did result in enemy Kha'Zix being shown on the map. Okay, it did result in a kill. I forgot about that part. But as you can see, we're actually quite low. But how you actually convert this into a lead on the map, a further lead, pushing your advantage, is pretty straightforward, right? We push the wave in. Talia's even helping push the wave in. Unfortunately, I'm Alistar. I'm pretty useless at pushing the wave. So we can't, I'm not going to be helping. But they push the wave in fast. I managed to get it back in. We all base together, except Talia. Well, me and Kai'Sa base together. And then I'm going to look for a roam. And now what I do with the roam is really important, because this is how you convert your lead from your laning advantage into your map advantage, into your team's team-wide advantage that you can use to snowball into Drakes, into Heralds, things like that. So I managed to get my Mobies off this back, and I'll go back a little bit. This is really important. This means I have extra tempo. Essentially, I'm just faster on the map than anyone right now because I have Mobies. I can recall and come out of the map in 20 seconds instead of 30 with Mobies. So what I'm doing here is I'm pathing straight towards mid lane, and this is what I would classify as a non-committal roam. I don't see an active play on the map. I don't see an active play mid lane or top lane. Seraphine is based, and top lane is just ungankable right now in this situation. Not to mention he's also like not very fed. He's not very strong. We can't kill a Riven. So what I'm doing here is just a standard non-committal kind of walking down mid lane to get vision and just see what's going to happen. Now, I wouldn't do this if enemy Sona, their support, was on the map before me, because they could be sitting in a bush waiting for me. I would have to be a lot more careful. But the second I see Kha'Zix, as you can see, I'm spam pinging Kha'Zix. You see, I don't even hesitate. I just walk straight into the jungle because I know I have time. And then we try and get some vision. Now, I don't really have any wards to place, but I spy that, like, okay, Kha'Zix's rates are up. And essentially, I'm just covering mid lane. Kha'Zix could potentially like walk to my mid lane and stop him from getting plates. And then I walk bot lane, and you'll see I use my sweeper here. Now, my goal with this roam was not to kill them, because I pretty much knew that they had Tribrush warded. In the stream VOD, you'll see me saying, like, how did they not see me? I knew that this bush was warded. Sometimes these things happen, even high elo. These people, you know, they're tunnel visioned. My goal was to just clear the Tribrush ward, and because I'm on the map faster than Sona, and I get to clear that Tribrush ward, they can't push their wave up. So that would have been the like kind of the win of my roam. That would have been the success of my roam. Enemy bot lane is now kind of stuck where they can't push the wave in and get a good base, and they need a good base. So they're kind of like trapped in lane for a little bit. But as you can see, they just didn't see me, so I took advantage of that and I punished because I know Jhin has no flash. Now, if Jhin had flash, I probably could still go for this, but I would just take his flash. And that's something that you need to be really aware of. How much are you actually going to force? Are you forcing just to get summoners, or can you actually chase after? This would not be a play I would overforce and I would spend too much time on, simply because the wave is in a really bad spot, and I don't want to risk, like, if I take a bad fight now, if I quickly go back to where I went on Jhin, if I take a bad fight in this position here, as you can see, the wave is like neutral, but my Kai'Sa has semi-pushed it in. So the wave would probably be stacking up into the Jhin, and he would be able to just respawn and collect all that money if we killed him or traded 1-for-1. It wouldn't really be like we wouldn't gain that much, is my point. So I would be really careful about like over chasing for these kind of plays in your roams. Just be aware of how much time you have. Another really important factor during this roam, which I'll just really briefly point out, is we see Kha'Zix here. So like Kha'Zix is mid lane, and if I extend this play too long, it may not seem like Kha'Zix could actually come bot and kill us if I like chased under tower, for example, or something like that. But what he could do is come bot lane to prevent me from pushing the wave in with my AD carry, and then it would be really, really hard for us to get a good lane state. We would basically just be frozen out of the game for a little bit because Kha'Zix would be doing his bot caps, and I would have to play extremely safe. So the wave is the priority. Pretty much in all of these examples, the wave will be the priority. Do you have a good wave state? And then the second question you need to ask is, does your AD carry need you bot lane? So in this example, this is basically just a standard mid lane roam, but it actually results in a kill. But what I want you to keep your eye on is essentially the decision making behind it. Again, it's very standard stuff. It's nothing crazy. I look for a pick on Jhin. I could have flashed for it, but I actually, in the VOD, you'll listen to me as saying I didn't really want to like burn my flash. I wanted to try and use my flash somewhere else on the map to try and snowball the map. So we're taking a reset, and I'll just pause it right here. And you see Jhin trying to freeze, okay? Now, if Jhin didn't try to freeze, I probably would not have gone for the play I'm about to go for. But as soon as I see Jhin starting to freeze and him threatening the freeze, like essentially what you should ask yourself is, can I do something while he's freezing? Because if he's freezing, he can't move, and also his support can't move. Generally speaking, like his support will most likely try and hold the freeze with him, if I see them bot lane at least. So I see some shenanigans happening mid lane. Now Kha'Zix definitely sprints it here, but the question is, how can I turn my tempo advantage into the giant, like the biggest, most giant lead possible for my team? And I think, okay, well, Jhin and Sona are bot lane under tower. They're freezing. It's very hard to dive them. Top lane, Riven is also seemingly freezing or just holding her wave, and Camille is very weak this game. So my only realistic play is mid lane. If I can't dive, then what would result in this play is, as you'll see, I basically would just put vision down and then go bot and break the freeze. And that would be sufficient. That would be a pretty okay scenario. But I wanted to try and get as much as possible out of this roam. And then I looked, okay, Seraphine's 1 HP. I know she has sums, but I still think I can kill her. And right here, just before I actually walk into Wraiths, you just have to do a quick evaluation in your head. Before you make the play, first of all, think about how long it's going to take. If it's going to take you 30 seconds to try and make this play, kill them, like chase them down. If you're trying to chase down a Rammus with 7,000 armor, you have to take that into account. And okay, well, if it takes me 20 seconds to finish this play, then my AD carry is going to miss an entire wave, pretty much. So you need to understand the like where your wave is and whether your AD carry is going to get pressured off the wave. Second thing I notice is my AD carry. I know for a fact that this enemy Jhin does not have flash, so I know that okay, well, my AD carry is most likely not going to die. She's pretty fine. She's in a completely safe spot, so I'm okay to go for this play. And then, as you can see, I just pull the trigger as fast as I can. I don't delay. I don't sit around and wait too long. I wait for the minions to hit mid tower, and then I just immediately go. Probably could have given that to Taliyah, but it is what it is. And then I just recall, hopefully. All right. Well, actually, I don't end up recalling. And this is again, these are I'm trying to remember exactly what my thought process was. This is why it can be kind of hard to put yourself in someone else's shoes all the time. But what I see here is, I think I pan over to bot lane real quick. Yeah, okay, so I pan over to bot lane real quick. And now this is a really important point about roaming. And I get asked this a lot. It's like, how do you know when to just abandon bot lane? How do you know when to just roam and just do something else? We're winning bot lane. So a lot of people would be like, hey, why aren't you just staying bot and like punishing them in lane, right? This is a matchup thing, and then it's also kind of an opportunity cost thing. How much is my Kai'Sa losing versus how much am I going to gain by diving top or stopping Kha'Zix from getting his top caps? The second I see that Riven is in a diveable spot and that Kha'Zix is in my jungle, I know for a fact that Kha'Zix can't dive my Kai'Sa bot lane. And I'm not scared of them diving. It's a Sona Jhin. They just have zero dive potential bot lane. So basically my pings here are hopefully telling Kai'Sa that, hey, I know you're losing. Like, I know you're losing a little bit. You don't need to cry that much because we're going to gain a lot. Now we get a kill on Kha'Zix here, and Kha'Zix's camps are up, right? So that's a really big reason why I stayed. I wouldn't have stayed if there was no camps up and my Kai'Sa's getting zoned under her tower. And then, as you can see, Riven has to back off from tower. I even walk up here. I put a pink ward down just to be as annoying as possible. Do I put a pink ward down? Oh, no, I don't. I think I will eventually put a pink ward down. No, okay. Well, Taliyah uses her sweeper. So yeah, as you can see, we're zoning Riven as hard as possible from top tower, preventing her from gaining anything. So the opportunity cost here, you'd have to say, okay, Kai'Sa's missing like maybe 1.5, 2 waves, but then Riven also misses all of the waves top, and she's missing about 2 waves, about roughly 2 waves. And then on top of that, we got the blue buff, we got the Gromp, we got the wolves, we got Kha'Zix's life, we killed him. So this as a whole, like, our team is just coming out massively ahead. You do have to be wary of this kind of stuff, especially in lower elo. People won't understand how much your team is gaining versus how much they are losing, and they'll be very tilted. But this is the cost of me roaming, which is Kai'Sa's stuck under tower. She actually gets poked out, and there's some threat of her being dove. So I have to go bot lane pretty quickly now and help her catch the wave. So I wanted to throw in just one last example of a bad roam. Now this is actually the enemy support, and we punish him extremely hard on this roam. And there's a very simple reason, and it's exactly the same as every single other example. You just have to drill this into your head. Their wave is just not in a good spot for him to roam. Okay, so I'll just pause it right here and set the scene. Graves has just taken Dragon. Our jungler is top half of the map. And our top laner has TP'd down bot lane and has participated in a fight, which didn't really, nothing really happened. In the fight, I think I died, and that's pretty much it. So I actually had kind of like a fast base from dying, if you could say that. But what happens then is Rammus recalls, Yone, our mid laner, recalls, and my jungler wants to do his blue buff. Now, Braum, I'll show you when Braum based, just to give you guys an idea of when... I believe Braum maybe died. Okay, so Braum dies in this fight. Vayne gets away, but then me and Kai'Sa die. So Kai'Sa dies, and then as you can see, I'm going to die as well. Okay, so we both die. Now I'm on the map same time as Braum is. So this is actually an interesting decision by Braum to roam. And as you can see, the Vayne and the Graves have just finished pushing the wave in. There's a giant wave coming into us. Rammus actually catches it. He catches the wave, and he even roly-polies up to Vayne just to delay her back. Now this... It looks a bit weird, and I don't really know whether he should, be able to do this because top lane is losing a lot of plates. But this is an interesting decision because Braum then decides to roam. Now I don't know this at the time, and I see Graves has just spent a lot of time doing Drake. So what do you guys got to ask yourself, what would you do in this situation, right? Well, what would you do? Well, I know for a fact Graves needs to base. Vayne had her base delayed by Rammus, and Braum isn't on the map. Braum isn't going to just randomly show up bot lane solo. Good in high elo, good supports aren't just going to randomly walk into lane like alone unless they're trying to freeze the wave. So I'm expecting Braum to be in river somewhere. So as you can see, I'm kind of warding and playing a little bit safe. I don't have my mid nearby, but my next plan is to basically just make sure that Kai'Sa can get this wave in. That's it. That's the only reason I'm going bot. I don't have any other plans other than that. I don't have any other information that Braum is roaming right now. Now, eventually, I will see Braum. Okay, as soon as I see Braum here, I make the call to hard push the wave. So I see Braum, I use my dematerializer, and I'm starting to just auto attack the wave. I even Q the wave, right? I even try and push it in as fast as possible. Now, what's the reason I'm actually doing that? In my opinion, I don't need my Q to kill Vayne. I can basically just ignite her, W her against the wall, and E her, and I will probably be able to kill her. But that's just a champion knowledge thing. So at this point, I need to get the wave in ASAP. Why do I need to get the wave in ASAP? Because if Braum finishes his play and gets back bot lane before I get the wave in, then he's going to have succeeded in his top play, and he'll defend Vayne, and we won't be able to dive them. So we need to pressure Vayne on this wave. So we push the wave in, and you'll see that I basically just, if Vayne shows, she's going to die. She takes a very big risk here because look at how many minions she's going to lose if she doesn't get to the wave. So we're zoning Vayne. I'm still hitting the tower. My Kai'Sa's hitting the wave. And then as soon as Vayne takes this gigantic risk, she's greeting for these minions, but it's a very understandable risk. She's losing a tremendous amount from that. I basically just go on her. I instantly go on her. I combo her. And then we get the kill. That's it. That's the punish. The punish was never, okay, I'm going to go bot and kill Vayne. It is just force them to make a really bad decision. They're going to lose something. We lost the fight top, but we're going even roughly because we're denying Vayne like 1 or 2 waves. But now, just because of this badly timed roam from Braum, they are now losing like 3 waves. Vayne loses like 3.5 minions. Sorry, waves of minions, and she's basically out of the game. The game is essentially over for this Vayne. And I'm just going to quickly reiterate before I call it a day exactly when Braum made the mistake. So after this play, if you guys watch my minion wave video, the wave is actually hitting our tower. So Rammus is like rolling away from our wave right now, but the wave is actually hitting our tower, as you can see by this Rammus here. So he catches the wave under tower, and then he's rolling towards Vayne. Now, what this generally means is the wave is going to bounce. The wave is going to bounce and stack up against the opponents. Rammus does mess with the wave a little bit here, so it's not that like clear. What happens is basically my Kai'Sa is on the wave faster than Vayne is on the wave. So this Rammus stopping the Vayne back essentially results in my Kai'Sa just being able to slow push the wave bot lane. Now, you can't plan out every single thing in these scenarios. A lot of these kind of things you're going to have to work out on the fly. But I hope these examples show you that it's not like just some... you don't have to over plan and overthink things. It's really basic. Do you have a good wave state? Does your AD carry need you? And are you gaining more than you're losing in the roam? And the gaining more than losing is experience, and the wave state is just trial and error. You should experiment. But once you get these kind of things down, these decisions aren't complicated, and they are in no way something you need to memorize. You basically just have to work through them in game bit by bit and make sure that you're like confident in your ability to quickly make these decisions and learn from them. Because sometimes you'll make the wrong decision. You'll make a bad roam and you will get punished for it. And it's really important that you just fix those roams. So I hope this was useful, and if it was, it would really help me if you left a comment, liked, subscribed, hit the notification bell, all that kind of good stuff. And thanks for watching. I will make more videos if you guys enjoyed this style. Thank you.